Hello, Captains. This is the Doctor, and welcome to part 2 of my Temporal Battlecruiser Paladin class Starship review in Star Trek Online. No fancy introduction this time. We're just going to get straight into it because I have already recently reviewed this ship. I did a very lengthy video on this ship, so please go check out that review first. I will link it in the top right corner. That's my complete review. This review is going to take the ship in a little bit of a different build, just to show you how you can do things a little differently. In that first build, I used phaser energy type, and the reason why on that was so that we could augment and buff the phaser-based platform that this ship used, the console that it uses by default, which is a phaser-based phaser platform. So in that, I wanted to build a phaser-based energy type ship and show it as that. But now I'm doing something a little different. I've actually taken that console off of this ship, and I'm doing an antiproton build on a different character who has a little bit more opened up to him in terms of gear and specializations and bridge officer abilities and things like that. Remember, this ship supports temporal bridge officer abilities, and on my last character I did not have any temporal bridge officers. However, on this character I do. So what character am I talking about? Well, this is my character, the last Doctor. I don't know why it says that. I need to change that. Yeah, that's probably why. I need to change that. I'm actually probably going to end up renaming this character anyway. But anyway, he's the last Doctor. He is my primary engineering character. And I've had him on here. He's the second character I ever created in the game. He is my primary engineer. So again, it is on an engineering, but I have more opened up on this character. Now, one thing I do not have opened up, unfortunately, which I was hoping that I would on this build, is I was hoping to have the command officer specialization set as primary on here. Unfortunately, I thought I was done with it on this character, but as you can see, I'm close to done, but not quite done. So I'm not going to use the command specialization on this current build. But what I am going to use that I didn't have on the last build is I do have the strategist unlocked. So this is going to be my secondary specialization, is strategist. So that's different from the last build we had. The last build, I think we had intelligence and pilot. So this one is now going to be intelligence and strategist. So the pilot on the last build gave us a really nice and big turn rate buff, which I do not have now on this build. But with the strategist, I have this plus 10% maximum shield capacity bonus with just by having strategist on. And of course, all the benefits that the strategist specialization provides. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use intelligence officer because that's the only other one that's maxed out right now on this character. But in the future, I will have command officer opened, and maybe I will revisit the ship with command officer as primary and strategist as secondary. That was my goal. That's what I wanted. But just not quite there yet. But close anyway with the strategist, so I'll leave strategist as a secondary. So that's a difference between the last build and this build, is the specialization. Also, the traits obviously are going to be different as well. I have different Starship traits on this one that I have enabled. I've got the improved predictive algorithms. I've got the retaliation, which is the trait for this ship. I also have demolition teams and shield overload, and then the improved critical systems as my Starship traits that are active on this one. And then the other thing is just going to be, you know, all the consoles, weaponry, and bridge officer settings and everything that I put on this ship. And that's what we're going to go over now. I'm not going to go over all the specs again on this ship. There's really no reason to revisit any of the specifications or read over what this whole ship is about, because again, if you want to see that, go watch the original review. This one is just taking the ship in a different direction with the build, and I'm just going to show it to you in combat. And that's pretty much it, and just show you another way you can do this ship. Because I mentioned, you know, if you take that console off where it has that phaser platform, you could put other things in the engineering position, and that's what I've done. So this is my antiproton build. of the Temporal Battlecruiser Paladin class. Very different than the last build. As you can see, I've got 2 dual beam banks here. They are antiproton. They got crit D and damage and pen. I've got an antiproton beam array, crit D times 2 damage pen, and I'm using a Kelvin Timeline photon torpedo launcher, very different, unique torpedo launcher this time around, and all that's maxed out as well, so that's pretty cool. I've got 2 single beams in the back. I've got one 360 degree omnidirectional antiproton beam, and then the kinetic cutting beam. For the deflector, impulse warp, and shield set, I'm using soul defense, which I believe is what I did have on the last one as well. So it's the same in terms of deflector, impulse warp, and shields, using the Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core with AMP, ECAP, EFF, SSS, WA, WS. I believe that's the same. But then down here is where everything differs. As you can see, I took out the unique console, so it's somewhere in this mess of inventory. But I took it out, and so it's not on the ship, so I do not have the unique console ability on this ship enabled. Instead, what I'm using it for is other consoles. Now, I just put these on here as an example to show you. You can, of course, customize and put different consoles that will do different things, but what I ended up using here is the console Universal Sustained Radiant Field. And the reason why I chose this is because it gives you all weapon damage plus 12.5% all weapon damage. So that's on top of already having 5 tactical consoles that are improving my anti-proton damage. And now here's another console that's improving all weapon damage as well, just to give me even more weapon damage. So I like that. And then I'm using just an enhanced neutronium. Probably would change this out with a Trillium D. I don't know if I have one on this character, but that's what I would change this out with. Let me actually see if I have one. Oh, I do have a Trillium D. It's not buffed all the way to epic levels yet. I don't think I can upgrade it. No, nothing to upgrade it with. So I'll go ahead and put it on, though, because the benefits are it doesn't have as high of an all damage resistance rating, but what it does have is increased hull capacity beyond what the neutronium one does, plus more shield capacity, plus 7.5% of your aux power goes to shield power. So I'll go ahead and change that out now, even though it's not upgraded. And then I'm using a Xenotech power flow module for a higher power transfer rate, Starship hull penetration as well. Then my Borg Universal Simulated module. Then down here I'm using the Temporal Disentanglement Suite, which gives me critical chance and critical severity based on my aux level, which is 75, as you can see below. Then I have a Bioneural Gel Pack, which is a plus 2.5 power to all subsystems, just to get my power levels as high as I can, and extra Starship shield capacity as well. And then down here I just have 4 of tactical consoles here, improving anti-proton damage. 3 of them are critical chance, and 1 is critical severity. And that's what I got. I got 125 power, 93 shield, 68 engine, 75 aux. And you can compare all these stats with the previous video that I did and see how they compare. I'm not sure off the top of my head right now how they compare, but you can check that out. Look back in that video and you can see what those power levels are and what the stats are. Right now I've got a 120.60 stealth detection rating, a defense rating of 60 when I'm at impulse, a power transfer rate at 307%, 83,169 hull, 88.2% hull repair rate, 20,000, almost 21,000 shield, 715 shield every 6 seconds. My resists are really high. And then my crit chance is 12.2%, and the crit severity is 95.4%. And then my turn rate is 15.6 degrees per second. So that is slower than I had before on the other build because I took off pilot as the secondary, but it's still decent. And because I made this a beam boat, it all works out okay anyway, because I've got fire at will and other things and all that stuff. So just a little different there. This isn't a large deviation from what I had before, but just in a few places, just to show you, what else you can do with the ship. I do have all of the masteries unlocked, obviously. I have Retaliation set as a Starship trait, so when critically hit, I get stacking damage for 15 seconds and critical chance, and the rest of the masteries are unlocked. And for a visual, you can see that I do have the Terran Task Force Covariant Shield on as my visual. If I take that off, that's what the ship looks like normally. But like I said in the last video, I really like the look of the shield on here, so I always go with that visual. And now one of the more interesting points and difference between this ship build and the last one is I have Temporal Bridge Officer powers on this ship now. I have been playing with Temporal Bridge Officer powers, and I have found a couple that I like. To be honest with you, I don't like a lot of them. I don't really find a lot of the Temporal Bridge Officer powers that useful. However, there's a couple on here I do have that does show you how you can mix between Temporal Bridge Officer powers and normal other Bridge Officer powers. So let me bring that up under Stations, and you will see that I have made my Liberated Borg character. I have made him a Temporal Operative character. He is an engineer, and you have that engineering, that full commander engineering station, but I turned him into a temporal officer, so he can have all the way up to commander level temporal bridge officer abilities. So if we go here to skills and Liberated Borg and go to the commander ranking here, you can see under temporal operative abilities I've got all of them, because like I said, I was experimenting with all of them. So I have chronometric inversion field, chronometric conversion, I got recursive shearing, shared fate, timeline collapse, rapid decay, entropic cascade. I got all of them because I wanted to experiment with every temporal bridge officer ability I could. And then I got some in the other rankings as well. Chronometric Inversion Field 2, and basically down here in Lieutenant I have Entropic Redistribution, Heisenberg Amplifier, Channeled Deconstruction, basically just trying out all the other ones that I could. So this shows you how you can mix engineering abilities with temporal abilities. So if we go here, you see I've got Timeline Collapse 3 set as one of my powers. And if I click on this, you'll see I have access to all of the other commander level temporal bridge officer abilities. So very opened up on this character in terms of bridge officer abilities. Over here I've got one, and then here in Lieutenant again I've got a couple there, and I'm using, actually I gotta click here, over here. And I'm using channeled deconstruction right now, but I've got entropic redistribution, Heisenberg amplifier. I've just tried them all out, and now I have kind of a hybrid build. I've got several engineering abilities: emergency power to weapons 3, emergency power to engines, emergency power to shields. At the same time, I've also got these temporal powers: timeline collapse, channeled deconstruction. So you can see how you can build this hybrid ship design with temporal powers. And I didn't make my Saurian tactical a temporal operative, but there's an option here that you could make your tactical officer here up to lieutenant powers temporal bridge officer abilities too. So if you wanted to leave, say, this one, you see, here's what you could do if you didn't want to sacrifice 2 lieutenant power tactical abilities. You could actually set your universal slot for 2 tactical abilities here. Make him tactical up here, and then you would not lose that tactical, and then down here you could make this guy all temporal powers. You could have an ensign and an ensign and a lieutenant temporal ability down here. So this one could be primarily temporal abilities, and then you could put the tactical abilities up here and not lose that. So you see, there's all kinds of different ways that you can do things with this bridge officer setup, so it's quite unique. But I do have 2 of the temporal bridge officer abilities. I have practiced with these, but I've never used these in a review before, so this is the first time. But timeline collapse is a level 61 timeline collapse for 5 seconds. During the first 4 seconds, you have a minus 15 pull per second enhanced by entropy to foes within 4 kilometers. Reveals cloak ships and disables pilot maneuvers after 5 seconds, up to 4,000 physical damage to foes within 4 kilometers. And it has this thing called entropy, and all of these timeline ability, or these, time abilities, all have temporal abilities, all have this entropy thing that collects the longer it's active. So the longer the thing is active, the more damage it starts to do and things like that, because it builds up entropy. I've also got channeled deconstruction too. This is 253.6 to 817 physical damage, ignores shields each second, and increases over time. And you get +1 entropy every 2 seconds. So I will use those abilities in combat, and you'll see that used, and you'll see how those work. But basically, the whole point there is just to demonstrate that you can have, engineering powers combined with these temporal abilities as well on this ship, because it is technically a temporally capable kind of starship. It's got molecular reconstruction. It's got the temporal bridge officer seating. So that's all unique to it. Well, the only thing I don't have on this ship, on this particular build, is that unique console, the phaser platform, because I'm using antiprotons. Instead, I'm just relying on the weaponry of my ship. Plus, I still have the molecular deconstruction beam, which is very powerful in itself, doing a lot of physical damage, and all these other timeline abilities as well. Look real quick at my damage here, just so you know what's happening. I've got 1700 DPS on the dual beam banks, 2125 antiproton damage. The single is 1308 DPS, 1635. These in the back are 1308, 1635. The 361 is 1175 and 1469 antiproton. And the torpedo is doing 7,000 kinetic damage, 1800 DPS. Now, I did do a parsed run of this ship in ISA, and I got near 30k on it. So this current build is near 30k. Is that a lot? No, it's not a ton of DPS, but is it enough to have fun in the game and enjoy the game and all the NPC difficulty and STFs and everything? Absolutely. 30k is plenty DPS to have fun in the game. You will not have problems having fun at 30 DPS. So it's not the most powerful build in the world, but it's also not the weakest build in the world either. It does quite well. And there's many ways to improve my damage output. I've got emergency power to weapons 3, which gives me more weapon damage. I've got intelligence fleet 2, which gives me armor penetration, shield penetration. So there are things here that I'm using, and of course I'm using these temporal abilities right now, but they could be replaced with something different. And of course I am using intelligence as the specialization right now instead of command. I think command would be better, but again, on this particular character at this moment, I do not have all of the command specialization open, so unfortunately I can't show you that. Maybe in the future I'll do another rebuild of this ship and show you with the command specialization unlocked, but right now it's just strategist and intelligence. Otherwise, don't know what else to do except go into combat and show you all what this ship is capable of. And there's really no better way than to do an actual mission. That's something I don't do often in these Starship reviews. I do a lot, I do STFs and all that. Simple, easy, everybody can do that. But one of the new missions that's out right now is called Brushfire, and it's actually got some pretty good space
Starfleet intelligence.
Some pretty good space combat in it, especially toward the end of it. It's actually pretty good for a mission, pretty intense. So I figured, let's play that. Let's do Brushfire, and let me show you what that is like with this ship. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this or not. I may cut out the ground parts of the mission and just cut to the space parts of the mission. So if I do that, you'll see the cuts. You'll only see the space combat. But if I leave the whole mission in here, then maybe I just will. I don't know actually at this point what I'm going to do. I'm just kind of winging it. Also, I will do an STF. Just because I'm doing Brushfire first doesn't mean that's all I'm going to do. I'll do an STF for you guys, and also maybe a patrol, just to show you those temporal abilities a little bit closer. But I thought, let's do something fun. You know, we're always doing the same old thing over and over again. Let's do something fun and different to really show off this ship, and let's use it in a real mission this time. A real mission that you actually play in the game.
Gavan.
So this is the brand new mission, Brushfire, and let's do it.
Metrion gas has a 4-kilometer blast radius. Be cautious. Good. All sonar communications are jammed. Local conditions are blocking long-range sensors. The sonar have no idea.
So you see right there how I use that temporal ability already. I use timeline collapse. Oh, is there another ship? There is. No, that's the core. There it is. I didn't even see that ship. He was hiding.
Ship is under attack.
So I already used the timeline collapse. I'll go ahead and use the other ability, the channeled deconstruction. I like that one a lot too.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Those purple bars up there is the entropy.
No sign of incoming ships. We still have the element of surprise.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
I serve my time.
4 shields failing. Rear shields failing. Right shields failing.
Soon Martok will be free.
Okay, we got a battleship up here. But watch this. With that and that combined, should do a lot of damage.
Target's shields have failed.
Yep, there it goes.
4 shields failing.
Martok's wife wanted to leave this mission, but House Torg knows her face too. Ho! I'm picking up a sonar transmission from near the planet.
Patrol 3 hasn't reported in. Investigate it once.
We can probably ignore them. By the time they report, we'll be...
Ship is under attack.
We've been
Target's
spotted by
shields
the
have
sonar.
failed.
Should we take orders?
4 shields failing. Target's shields have failed.
We
There
should
we
have
go.
acted quickly.
Pretty cool. So that right there gives you an idea of how the ship operates in like normal NPC level combat. And Brushfire is the Sona, I should say, that we're fighting here in Brushfire. Their weaponry is pretty intense, so I have found this to be a very good test of ship abilities, actually. There are STFs that are actually easier than this mission, because the Sona weapons are pretty powerful.
The time. Yeah.
So yeah, there are STFs that are actually easier than this. So if you can get through this without dying and, you know, doing a lot of damage, then you're going to be okay for some of the STFs even. But we'll still do some. So I just want to kind of get the point across how awesome this ship is. It's a really
The maximum.
good ship. Like I said, I may cut this part out, I may not. If all of a sudden you see it cut to the next space part, that's because I cut it out. If you see it here, that's
See all
because I
those
left it here.
turrets? If you step out of line, they are prepared to remind you of your place.
And I'm just going to move through this pretty quickly, though. I'm not going to take my time, you know. I am going to go quickly.
5 more lifers! What did you idiots do to earn such dishonor?
Not my concern. My concern is to bring them here now.
Fair enough. I have plenty of time to find out. Go straight ahead to processing. What a miserable bunch of backtalk! Get these convicts out of my sight!
Uh-huh.
Watch for patrols. We may need to fight them on the way out.
Okay.
Prisoners to the back wall for processing! Move along, convicts! Don't make me ask you again.
We were able to bypass that. Like I said, I'm just going to move through this as quickly as I can, so we can get to the space battle.
Torg is allied with the Zenkethi. There is no end to his dishonor. Martok defeated many Zenkethi in close combat. It is why they call him the Butcher.
Ah, this part is so slow.
Haven't seen you around here before.
I'm new. What of it?
Well, put those convicts in their place, and we can get some blood wine after our shifts. Give me a reason to break you, Patach. We have lots of time to play.
Let's see if we can bypass that. Yes, we can. Straight to battle. There we go.
There is no escape for you, Butcher. You will answer for your crimes.
All right. Martok.
Fight now! For the Empire!
Good.
We did
There's
fight.
another here. There's nothing on.
Okay, let's go to the next part.
There he is. Across the way.
Martok, this warrior you speak of is a Jem'Hadar.
What of it? The war is over, and he has earned my respect.
Okay, and then we go back out.
They have locked down
Those Torg's office. We forge off. Use the con.
Jailbreak! Open fire! Now!
What are those alarms? Bennett, why aren't you reporting in?
Man, I am laying waste to everyone.
Torg's office.
Wow. Yep, laying waste to everybody. It's actually quite fun.
Yes. To stand. To fight. To be Klingon.
Okay, let's go. Glide across the floor.
This will hurt Torg. At least until I kill him.
It's him! The Butcher of Zincat 3! Kill him!
What great fun that is.
Main security.
I just love owning everything and everyone.
That should take them a while to repair. Security is down.
Did you hear those explosions? This way!
Enemy combatants in close proximity.
The Butcher still lives? Unacceptable! Bring me his head, now!
Nice. Very nice.
Witness the strength of a true Jem'Hadar! You! I should have known not to trust you!
Dang, he's jumping all over me. One thing I don't like about
all
the
enemies
the
of the Empire
Zenkethi
will fall.
is they jump all over you. Oh, are two of my bridge officers dead? Oh, I guess they are. Huh. Oh well, they'll come back to life eventually. Everybody's dead. Am I the only one alive? Wow, everybody... What happened? I think they must have fallen through the map or something. Because all of my bridge officers just died simultaneously. And I don't even know where they are. So that is not a good thing.
Keep moving. We're almost there.
Moving on.
It is good to feel a
They
blade
should
in my hands
reappear.
again. Better to use it on my enemies.
They should reappear when we get back to the surface.
It's time to evacuate.
Hopefully.
The elevator's
there they are.
offline. How will we escape?
That was weird.
We will use a
Can
grappling
I
device
can
to
escape
reach
that.
the
Good.
rooftop.
Oh, they're all dead again. What? They all appeared dead.
I
What is
told
going
Lady
on?
Sorella that I would bring you home, Marta. I intend to honor
Dang,
that promise.
that's not a good way to start out. With everybody dead. Come back to life, everybody. There you go.
I see they've sent a pack of filthy Karoots to fight us. Good. I can use the exercise.
Why are you dead?
Now I know why Jem'Hadar wished to meet Klingons when they crossed the anomaly.
Fight on! Send them all to Grathor!
You fight well, Alliance.
Enemy forces are larger than we expected.
There, okay. Rodek, come on.
The battle.
There we go. Alright, now I'm just going to set up real quick for the next one. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Going to do that. And we'll be ready for the big boss.
Butcher! The It's here, now. No trial, no mercy. Only your death.
Many have tried to kill me, and failed to kill me. Come, and add your name to the list.
Wow, there we go. Wore him down pretty fast. I think we can escape that. Yep. Alright. Hey, we're going to move on to the space part. Here we go, guys.
I will take Martok with me.
Time for the big space battle. Test our ship out. You ready? Because here we go.
The enemy is...
Warning. Ship is under attack.
I didn't mean to use that on Metreon gas.
The blood of my
Oops.
heir is on your blade, Torg. It will be avenged.
If your blood is as thin and weak as his, it will barely stain my blade.
Bold words for a cowardly traitor. Say them to my face, if you have the spine.
Target shields have failed.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can escape past this scene too. Yes, we can.
We are still close friends with the domain. You would be wise.
4 shields failing.
What do you
Target
know?
shields have failed. Rear
Other
shields
than the
failing.
taste of their boots on your lips.
Hull integrity below 75%.
Reinforcements are here.
General Rodek, I
Try
do
not
Oh,
not
crap.
have my husband with me.
We have much to
Preferably
discuss.
Integrity below 50%.
Somehow, you honor me, my wife. Let us darken the stars with the blood of our enemies.
I'm not dead yet, Butcher, but you will be, and soon.
Target shields have failed. Left shield failing.
Lord, General Martok has killed Torg. But Char Weed. Congratulations, General.
Target shields have failed.
We will meet again, Butcher. I will have my vengeance.
Let's get the Sona Dreadnought. Oh boy, that was a good fight right there. That was a really good fight.
It has been a day of victory.
That is a really good demonstration right there of how this ship can do very well in a very tough mission for space there. Wow. There was one moment that I came very close to blowing up, but that was because I was caught in one of the Sona's explosion, and then it went to cutscene. So that was a bad place, bad time to be in. Wow.
Klingon political intrigues are never boring.
That was a lot of fun, and that was real good. It just shows you what this ship is capable of, and even though we were in tight combat, and you can see there were a lot of ships very clustered close together, even with the fact that I don't have a really buffed turn rate on this ship, I was still able to turn well enough. That's always one of my concerns with a ship, is I like a real maneuverable ship. And I felt that it was pretty maneuverable even with that many ships close together. So that's a sign of a good, powerful, maneuverable starship, and it's not even an escort. So, a very versatile and useful ship. Let's see what else we can do in terms of STFs or whatnot. It's very late at night right now, so probably not a ton of people on. There's this Zinkethi thing on right now. Maybe people are playing some Zinkethi missions. Maybe I can go do like the Zinkethi front or something. I mean, the time's very short on that. Much longer. I'd like to do advanced, but I'll queue for advanced and normal, and we'll just see which one pops first. How about that? And we'll just take whatever we can get right now first. Probably going to end up being normal first. But this will also be a good test of the ship as well, doing an actual STF. Because that's the going thing. Right now the endeavor is destroy 20 Zinkethi ships. So that's people are probably doing, yeah, they're probably doing the Zinkethi front right now, and to get those Zinkethi ships. I'm not sure if we just loaded into normal or elite. I mean normal or advanced.
The time for...
We're probably in normal. I don't know how you know for sure. Well, I don't know. Advanced is not lit and normal still is. Maybe we're in normal. I'll ask in chat. Maybe somebody there will know. Yeah, see, someone else doesn't even know. It's hard to know which one you're actually in when you queue for both.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Your teammate has captured a bomb. Protect them.
I think it's normal.
One Zinkethi base has been destroyed. Keep fighting! Your teammate has captured a bomb. Protect them!
Where's the other one who has the bomb? I'm looking for the person who has the bomb. I don't see him. Oh, there's too many ships right there. Holy crap. Oh, they're too clustered together.
Another Zinkethi base has been destroyed. There are 3 left. Your teammate has captured a bomb. Protect them.
Come on.
You've got a bomb. Now destroy one of their bases with it. Well fought. Only 2 Zinkethi bases.
Okay, got that one. That is just too many ships to deal with right there, let me tell you.
Your teammate has captured a bomb. Protect them.
Alright, I will help. Where is he at? There he is.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Looks like he's going to that one. Yeah, he's going to that one. Okay, I'll take some aggro off him.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Only 1 Zinkethi base left. They're sending a dreadnought to stop us. Your teammate has captured a bomb. Protect them.
Okay, got somebody else with a bomb.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shield has failed. Target's shields have failed.
There's dreadnought on an attack vector. Destroy it.
Target's shield
All
has failed.
Zinkethi bases destroyed. They have a dreadnought with some fight left in it, however.
There we go.
Defeated the Zinkethi, protected the planet.
That was a very nice run. That was a very nice run right there. So you can see how well this ship does in an STF. A real STF and a real mission. just another way to build this ship and make it unique. And it does quite well. There's really not much else to show you because I pretty much demonstrated what I wanted to pretty well. Those two things there. We'll just go do a quick patrol. A quick normal patrol so I can just all individually shoot off these couple of temporal abilities I have, and you know, you'll see what they can do, how the entropy builds and that kind of thing. But there's a very good combo power I have here when I do channel deconstruction, which is physical damage, plus my physical damage of the molecular deconstruction beam. And this one also does physical damage, the timeline collapse. With all three of those together, I've got a pretty good physical damage ability. It's like a combo. I'm going to try that in the patrol because it's pretty nice. So check this out. I'm going to do this on the big ship here, this ship right here. I'm going to go up, buff my power, combo. Those together do pretty good. That one, of course, isn't ready yet, but with those together, look at that damage it's doing. See, it's pretty good, and the entropy is building too, and it's doing more and more damage. So that did pretty good.
Target shield has failed. Left shield failing. Target shield has failed.
Okay, that one's ready. And those are ready. Watch this. Look at that. That's pretty nice. I need to do it on a bigger ship though, but you kind of get the idea how it can work together.
Target shield has failed. Target shield has failed.
Here goes just channel destruction. And then here's timeline collapse. Yeah, there you go. That's timeline collapse. Pretty cool right there.
Target shield has failed.
And thus concludes another look at the Paladin. Just a little bit different, not too major, but just a little bit different from the other review, just to show you, you know, how you can mix and match the powers, the bridge officer powers and stuff. Because it's quite a cool ship, this one. I really do like it. This ship is one that I could see me using continuously, you know, as my primary ship. Very powerful, very flexible, can do a whole lot of things. Very, very good design. I like it a lot. I have to say that I am very impressed with all of the 26th century ships that Cryptic has devised. Remember, these were never in any of the TV series or movies. This has been completely designed with the Enterprise J in mind. We saw that one, ship from the future in Enterprise, and the rest of these 26th century ships that Cryptic has created are based off of that design. The thinner saucers, the thinner nacelles, smaller nacelles. The way they're designed just is pulled directly from that original Enterprise J concept design that we saw, and so the design is pretty cool. It's very unique. The power base is really cool and really unique in this game. What makes these ships even more powerful, having that molecular deconstruction beam, which is very, very useful power, and then with this one here being able to use temporal bridge officer abilities, just kind of further giving you something unique to do with it. And if you take off that console, you can use any energy type you want, or you can use the console, doesn't matter, whatever. Very powerful. The only complaint with these 26th century ships would be the science one. I never really liked that look of the science one. It did okay in my review. I mean, I reviewed it and it was an okay ship, but I wish they had based it off of a different ship. I wish that it was. Go to ships tier 6. Come down here to this one here is what I'm talking about. The Nautilus class. It's very small. I wish it were different. I wish it were based off a different science ship. I wish it were based off of Nebula, honestly. I think that would have been a lot cooler. But what they did here is these ships are basically like 26th century versions of 23rd century ships, because this whole 26th century ship package came out with the whole original series expansion. And the point of these ships were they were supposed to be 26th version or tier 6 versions of the common 23rd century ships. So that's where they came from, and that's why they're there, and that's why they're in-game, even though they've never been in any TV or movie or anything. So they took something from that and kind of made it anew. They did a good job. I think they could have done better with the science ship, but the rest of them are fun to fly, and they're really great, and I like them a lot. So I've got to say that that was money well spent buying that whole 26th century package thing. In fact, I bought the whole expansion package thing. And in terms of these 26th century ships, it was a good buy. I also got the 31st century ships. I've got the multi-mission. I did a review on these two. I got the Ouroboros, and I got the Temporal Dreadnought. I got all those ships too. They're very, very, very fun too. But these 26th century ships are definitely worth it, in my opinion. Some ships are and some ships aren't, and these are. I don't know. This may seem like a weird review to you. Like, why do I need this review after I just did it the first time, the other video? But I just felt that, this ship kind of deserved it. I know the format of this review is weird, and the commentary is a little disjointed. Well, okay, very disjointed. The reason for that is I'm just winging it on this review. I really didn't have, a formula. Normally my ship reviews have a formula they follow, and I go through it from start to finish. This time I just wanted to kind of do this off the cuff. I just wanted to take this ship, record a video about it, play a mission, some STFs, and show you my other build of it besides my Ensign Ricky build, because Ensign Ricky, he's good, but he's not as up to date as this character is, even though I thought this character had commander specialization and he doesn't, so that makes me sad. I thought I was going to be able to use that. I could use some of it, but not all of it. Oh well, maybe in the future that'll leave room for that. Anyway, what can I say? Temporal Battlecruiser, Paladin class, excellent ship. Very good stuff. It's late at night, 1:15 in the morning. I'm tired. You're tired. We're all tired. I'm going to end that here on this ship. And stay tuned for the next one, because I've got some more ships lined up. I got a new science ship that I just got, a new tier 6 science ship that I will be flying and doing a review on. I'm going to do something very interesting. I'm going to go back and do some tier 5 U ships. There are ships in this game that were released as tier 5 ships, but then later had tier 5U upgrades, and I have those ships, and I might have done a review on those ships as an original tier 5 ship, but I haven't done a review on some of those ships as tier 5U. I can now go and upgrade those ships to tier 5U and do reviews on them, because some of them, even as tier 5U ships, are still worthy in this game. They're still worthy to play. They still play very well, even though they're not tier 6. They still work just fine and are very powerful. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm actually going to go back and start doing some tier 5U ships. You know, tier 5 ships that we've gotten that have been upgraded, and just kind of maybe revisit some ships we've already done too that were tier 5 and now are tier 5U. Could be interesting. Could be very interesting. Probably am going to do that, so you can stay tuned for that. But I do have another science ship lined up, and I do have a tactical ship or escort lined up, and it is a tier 5U, but it's one that I never actually did a review on, so it's going to be quite interesting. And then as far as cruiser ships, I've got two very cool Kelvin timeline ships lined up on cruiser to do, so that's going to be very cool. Those are going to take me a little bit of time because I want to equip them properly. So they have unique gear, and I want to, equip them properly. So look forward to that. I got a lot of good things lined up there in terms of ships, and it's going to be quite fun. And I'm finally going to start doing some Romulan and Klingon ships, because I haven't done any, and it's time to do some. I can now do that. I have a couple, I've got like 3 KDF characters now, and I also have 2 Romulan characters, and I'm going to do 1 more Romulan character. So I've got the capacity now to review some good Klingon and KDF ships, and I want to do that. So look forward to that too. I'll be getting into that. So lots of good stuff ahead. As always, if you subscribe, you can know when all those will come out. And yeah, pretty much just have fun. It's all about having fun. This is definitely a fun ship, and I enjoyed it, but now I have to remove it and put on another ship, because that's what I do. Well, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.